Hey, thanks so much for carving out some time to look through how to get your personal finances in order. This is a form that myself and my wife have worked on for the last 10 years together and has been a complete game changer in our personal finances, knowing that we're in a good position, setting goals, and also sometimes getting out of a bad position as well. Like anything, until you know what's going on, it is hard to make educated decisions on what to do next. And today, I'm gonna show you how to make it simple and easy. So if you're looking to buy your first house, buy rental property, getting used to what does it look like with having to pay these extra funds on a monthly basis, and utilities and cable bills and all the things that come along with being a responsible adult and taking care of your money. It's very, very important. So I'm gonna go through everything with you here today. You might think this is kind of wild, but every single person on our team, we do this together every month because that's how important it is. And that's how I wanna make sure I can give back for two things. One is security, but two is I want it to be so easy that you can teach others how to do it. More than likely, you got a couple credit cards, you got a debit card, you have savings accounts, you have all of these different things. So the first thing that before we get into filling out the form is the behind the scenes on how to make sure you have the tools that are necessary for you to do this. So what we use is a product called Quicken. And what you do is you link up your accounts to this and you're able to reconcile them as frequently as you would like. I would recommend a couple times a week because it can get kind of wild and you forget what you spent your money on if you're not paying attention to it. What we're doing is we're tracking everything throughout the month and then we're reconciling everything at the end. What I would recommend though is to try to minimize as many accounts as you have. You don't need a lot of accounts. You really need a savings account, a checking account, and maybe one credit card. That's really it. I think that we muddy the waters with too many different accounts out there, so less is more, and as long as you're paying attention to what's going on, it makes it really, really easy. So, lesson before you get started. One, utilize technology to help you sort things out. And two, try to minimize some of these accounts as well. You know, when you think about your budgeting every single month, we want to look at things that you're actually going to be spending money on. Everybody is different in what they do. So that's going to be your rent payment, your home loan, your car payments, all of your utilities. You're gonna have some spending cash. Yes, you do need to have some cash so you can go buy those small things at the store, things like that. I love playing golf, so you gotta have a little bit of money, make some fun bets. So we're gonna put those here in column one. Column two is gonna be what we call your survival number. So of those categories, these are the things that you are gonna have to spend your money on every single month, no matter what. You have the commitment to do that. So that's all your big stuff, right? Again, your rent, your house payment, your car loan, your insurance, your fuel, things like that. You're gonna have to spend no matter what. Now you're gonna have some extra things on there that maybe you don't spend as much money on. For other items that are not things that go into your survival category, which is column two, like let's say for instance, dining out, right? That's probably not a survival number. That is your groceries are a survival piece, but dining out is not. So what is the bare minimum that you're gonna have to spend every month no matter what? So, and we're gonna put those dollar amounts in each one of those on what you pay every single month. So you'll have some that will be the same all the time. So your rent's probably gonna be the same, your mortgage is probably gonna be the same, maybe it adjusts once a year. Your fuel cost is gonna vary every single month because you might drive more some months than other months. But whatever that is, you're gonna make sure that that goes into column two. Column three is what you actually spend. So this is gonna be, if you look at your mortgage amount in column two, and then the same number in column three because you paid that same number. But dining out is not. So let's say that you would not have that in column number two, but you would have that in column three. So you're gonna make sure you put in column three what you actually spent in dining for the whole entire month. Then what we're gonna have is column four is savings, which I'll get to after I talk about column five. So column five is all the money that you have made that month. So that's gonna be from your jobs, that's gonna be if you sold some stuff at a garage sale. And my goal is that you're doing this as a household. So this is gonna be multiple people that are gonna be on this. You're gonna have everybody's money on there so that you're talking about this and we're not scared to talk about money because the more that we learn about it, the better it is. So Column 5, you're gonna list out all of the paychecks and all of the money that you've earned for the month. And our goal is to have column 3 at the bottom and column 5 match up. They need to be the same number. So the question you're gonna ask me is, John, I did all of this, but the numbers don't match. Okay, so that is not uncommon, and this is where we're able to go through this. Our goal is that we save 20% of the money that we make every single month, and we never touch it forever. That is the goal. So when we look at this, it's really, really important. Our goal is that we save a minimum of 20%. And if you want to do other things outside of that, over and above, utilize that money and go play, go have fun, go on trips, go do stuff. I would rather you just save more money if you can. However, I know that if we save 20% every single month forever, you are going to be in an amazing position as you get older in life. It's just going to be a huge game changer. So when we look at that, you're going to have, hopefully what the goal is that you brought in more money than what you spent. Now the difference, let's say that it's $5,000 that your household brought in and you spent $4,000. So what would happen in that point is you would have saved $1,000, which is 20%. So you would put in column number 4, where did that $1,000 go? Whether that's an investment account, 401ks, brokerage account, things like that, or if it's even a personal savings account, that's okay, but we want to make sure we pull that and we put that aside and we start building that savings number is very, very important. Second thing that you can do to save the 20% is if you're looking to reduce your debt. So let's say you have a couple credit cards that you're like, I am done. I have been there before multiple times with more money than I would like to share. It was not fun. But when I started looking at it, I had a plan of attack and I knew how to get rid of it. We also count debt reduction as savings. So if your credit card bill, your minimum is $100 on the card, and you've cut this credit card, you are no longer using it, at that point you paid $200 that month. You would have paid $100 on the card, and then you would have paid an additional $100, which is $100 in saving. Now, let's say if it was the flip side, so you spent more than you made, okay? This happens sometimes. This is life. It is not always perfect. So if that is the case, where did that extra money come from? So did you pull that from a personal savings account? Was that money that was put on your credit card? Like, we want to be able to track that. So if it's on your credit card, you're going to see your balance is going to be increasing to offset that. But our goal is that the more that you track this, you will tailor your spending to make sure that you don't end up in those positions when you don't want to. We can work through all the challenges if we have the right plan. Now we've gone through all the different columns, and now we're looking at the bottom part of this form. This is where we're looking at a snapshot of all of our balances in our accounts at the end of each month, so we can track, are we gaining momentum? Are we staying in the same spot? Are we going backwards? This is a really good indicator. Month over month, you might not see a lot of changes, but if you look at this, if you do it for a long time, as you see year over year though, you'll see a lot of big differences. So if you start doing this now, it's just great because you can look at this again in another year. You have an exact snapshot of where you were a year prior. So we're always going to be looking at your survival account. So we want a money market account that has 3 times what your survival number is, so that if something happens, you got some money that you can pull from. Now going back to when we talked about, okay, what if the numbers are different? What if I didn't make enough money to pay for all my bills? This is where you would go into that survival account, pull that money out of there to help bridge the gap for that month, okay? And the reason that we have that there is so you don't have to go lean on your credit cards. That is the ultimate goal. Credit cards are great. There's point systems, there's rewards, there's travel stuff, there's all these things. But at the end of the day, if we're not paying it off every month, it's not getting us ahead. So we're gonna be looking, how much do we have in our savings? And then also, how much do we have in all of our other accounts? So like your 401ks, your investment accounts, what equity you have also in your rental accounts. Like if you own any rental properties, what that looks like. If you own a home, what does that look like? What's your value now? What's your loan balance? So we're gonna have some numbers there. So you're gonna be able to see, okay, this is where I'm at with my equity position. This is where I'm at in my cash position. So you can see month over month, year over year, where you're at. So that's what we have on the net worth side. On the other side, we're gonna be tracking what's the percentage that you saved and how much did you save every single month. So that's where we're gonna pull that number from the bottom of column 4. So we're gonna track that, and we're gonna see how much, and we're gonna roll that over every single month so we can check how much should we save throughout the entire year. So the goal is that we can track ourselves, we can see that momentum, we can see that change. It's really, really important. Then below that, you're gonna have your cash number, your net worth number, and then your total net worth. That's going to be a combination of your cash and your real estate holdings. So that's going to give you a total number. And the last one is one that we cannot forget. It is super, super important that we give back to the community. So giving back to the community, giving back to the people that we know as well. We want to track and see how generous that we are, because we got to make the money, we got to save the money, and then we got to give some of the money away to a good cause and make sure that we're moving the needle for people. So this is a really quick breakdown on how this form works. If you are working on it, you have challenges, just watch the video again. It's going through and explaining everything. But if you really want to get into the weeds on this, if this is something that you are very passionate about, we would be honored to continue this conversation with you on your journey to financial security. I call it the things that make you sleep good at night. I love to sleep. It is great, but it is hard to sleep when you got a lot of stress on your shoulders. And this is an amazing way to take that stress, and if you're in a good position, celebrate it. If you're in a challenging position, you have the tools now to get yourself out of that position so you can start making headway, start building a legacy for yourselves, for your family, and for generations to come. So thank you for taking a couple minutes to go through this form that has moved the needle for us in an amazing way. Get a hold of your finances, get a hold of your future. Thanks so much. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.